So welcome to this presentation. I'm Alexandre. I have been working at Mozilla for the past more than 13 years now, and I have been a contributor to localization. Before that, I started in high school, so it's been a long way. And I'm here to talk to you how we are going to try to improve our position in the enterprise browser space. So we are first going to explore what is a browser in 2026, because as we spoke with a few examples of browser engine, things have evolved a little bit. Then we will have a look at what is proposed by everyone in the market space, and how we are going to reply to those proposals. I will then have a look at the challenges, how we build up on top of our open source and contributor-based experience to be able to build and bring something that matches the enterprise needs, all under the requirement that we need something that is independent, that is bringing some data ownership to everybody. So what's inside the browser as of today? A long time ago, browser was just about rendering a bit of text, then we added images, and then we added sound, and then we added video, and now we have DNS that is being performed by the browser, even if some network people are probably not super happy about that. We have certificate revocation that has landed not so long ago to make sure that what you think is secure is actually secure. We have safe browsing to make sure that you are not browsing websites that are trying to steal your data or trying to deceive you. We have JIT, because a browser as of today should be super fast. So JIT stands for just in time. For the compilation of JavaScript, for example. You can extend your browser with web extension. We have techniques to avoid fingerprinting. Fingerprinting is a bad thing for your anonymity on the internet, but it's also a bad thing for identifying you. It's used by some companies to try to detect if you are a human or a bot. And that's why sometimes when I try to connect to a website that is protected by, for example, Akamai or Imperva, then I am barred from it because I'm running nightly on a specific Linux distribution, and it's not within the knowledge of their model. And all of that because we try to protect your privacy. We have telemetry, which a lot of people are not happy about, but telemetry is super useful to be able to discover how people are using the browser, and the way it's implemented in Firefox makes it that it's not going to spy on you. And all of that is delivered at a super rapid pace of updates. Like, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we switched to one dot release every week. So we do one major release every 6 weeks. And then every week, we do one dot release. So that's going super fast. And we have to keep the pace. And it's also a problem for the IT people because they have to follow the pace. In terms of engines, we have had a look earlier with a few questions. So you can see that most of the ecosystem is focused on Blink. There's a bit of WebKit. I have not mentioned Servo, but it's not really a browser, an engine that is in a state that makes it competitive yet in terms of feature and speed, but they are improving over time. And so Gecko, as of today, is the last independent browser. And it matters a lot for enterprise because the market share of Google and the control of Google over Blinks means that they are able to control whatever they put in the web. And it's a situation we have already known in the past for the ones like me that are starting to have gray hairs. If you remember about ActiveX on Windows, how many companies have been blocked moving from to another browser because of that. Nowadays, we are facing the same kind of limitations. It also matters because the more web engine we have, the more widespread the attack surface is. If everyone is running the same browser engine, everyone is subject to the same security issues. And I like the topic of this, the title of this slide. Firefox is a strong browser. We are, I hope, but I think we can say it. We are fully featured and we are secure. We are able to keep at the pace of update and the pace of the web. No later than a couple of weeks ago, there was a pwn security contest, and I think we have not been pwned. So that's a good news on the security side. And some people need or prefer to use a longer supported version like ESR, which is just released with security patches. However, when you start to look at the enterprise ecosystem, you need specific features. You need support. The support that we have right now is mostly community-based, and it does not scale to the enterprise needs. We have limited management. We are able to apply policies, but the way we are able to deploy them is not good enough for enterprise. And we are lacking some integration in SSO, in SIEM, in EDR. So we need not just a strong browser, but we also need services around it. And just as a reminder, what is the current offering of the others? So you have Chrome for enterprise, you have Edge for business, there's Island, and there's going to be us, because the current offering is not yet on par, but we are working on it. What do the enterprise and what do the government want? They want something that is secure, especially in terms of supply chain. They want auditable pipelines. They want to be able to reproduce builds. I think that Debian started to say that for their next major release, they are going to enforce the need for reproducible builds. They want data residency, so they want to be able to control data. They want to host data where they want and not depend on a cloud somewhere under some legislation that they do not control. They need some compliance in terms of regulatory laws, and they need SLA, they need real support, they need long maintenance windows, and moreover, they need some backend control. They need, for example, if they want to use sync, which we have in Firefox, they probably don't want the sync data to be hosted somewhere on the internet. They want to have control over that because it can contain sensitive data. They want to be able to control how they ship updates. They want to be able to see the telemetry because they want to see how the people are using the browser, if they are hitting issues, and they want, in general, a management console to be able to control all of the instances of the browser. And this is where we are stepping up. We are trying to address all of those needs where companies and government needs to reduce data leakage. I mean, if you are French or you are following French security news, you have seen how many services have been pwned in the past. So it's not something that is to be taken lightly. And the broad idea is that the browser is the key component in the architecture, because as of today, the browser is a key to access most of the enterprise resources. So it needs to be secure, resilient. It needs to be sovereign by design. and it needs to be well integrated. So what we are building as of today is a centralized live policies handling. So if you do not know what are policies, it's a way to control some of the behavior of the browser. So for example, you can deploy proxy configuration, or you can deploy bookmarks, or a lot of other stuff. We have integration with IDP providers so that the user is constantly signed in within his browser, and the administrator have control over that. So if you have, for example, a device that is stolen, you can completely disconnect the people. Or if you have someone that is doing rogue actions, you can also disconnect them immediately. We have augmented the telemetry, because telemetry is not a bad thing. And so all of that is forwarded to your data backlog. And so you can all extract it and make use of it. We are integrating device posture to be able to control that the system is in a state that the console accepts. So you can, for example, enforce the fact that the browser is up to date to be able to connect. Or a feature that I have implemented, we are sending, for example, the LTE modem EMI to the console. So the EMI is a modem serial number. And so you can imagine that administrator will want to cross-check the serial number that is being sent by the device with what they have in their database. And if someone is trying to tamper with the device, they will reject the connection. That's one way to see device posture. And we have also sync automatically enabled. And one big feature that is landing is profile encryption. So your Firefox profile is going to be encrypted on disk, and all IOs will be encrypted. There's no decryption step before starting the browser. Everything is done on disk encrypted. So this way, even if the system is hacked in a way, it's going to limit data exfiltration from third-party software, for example. And of course, all of that is intended to be deployed either in a cloud that you control or on-premise. Yep. One of the nice features that we are enabling is bring your own device. And it allows, with the implementation of access connectors, to provide resources that are internal in a completely transparent way. Bring your own device is becoming more and more important, and it was complicated to manage by IT. The fact that we can integrate it at the browser level by deploying tunnel and proxies inside the browser reduce the friction, and it makes it easier to manage for everyone. And so one point, I said that we are coming from a free software background, so we are creating Firefox Enterprise the same way. We are trying to be user-centric. We are making partnerships with users and listening to their feedback and making sure that we address their needs. One big difference is that we are not focusing on end users only. We are also focusing on IT people. And this allows us to deliver something that we hope is going to be high value in terms of quality and in terms of features. How are we raising the security? So as I said, with live policies, with the user being constantly signed on, with extension control through policies, profile encryption, and a nice feature which is lockdown mode. So it's going to enable disabling JIT on some website, disabling enforcing session isolation. The idea is really to make sure that we are reducing the attack surface of the browser. So, for example, if there's a bug that allows to spy between tabs, by disabling JIT, we are reducing the risk at that level. Access connectors. If you have seen the news recently, you have seen that we have integrated VPN in Firefox. Access connector is basically this, but provisioned automatically. And user identity and device posture enforcement to make sure that not just the browser, but maybe the operating system is up to date. Make sure that, for example, if there is some DLP or EDR that is required, it's properly installed. Making sure that whoever tries to access to your resources is someone that should have access to it. So, I hope I have been able to enlighten you a little bit. I have seen in various encounters, either at FOSDEM or last year at Geek Ferries, a geek festival not so far away from where I live. I have met a lot of people that are working in IT teams and that were disappointed that they could not push more for Firefox because of the lack of feature or the lack of management console and stuff like that. So we know there is a real appetite for this. And we are reshaping a product that has been built that has started to be built a long time ago. Some of the code I was looking at a few months ago was from 1906. So that's